Good, so I can't be still, get used to it. I'm gonna start off walking and talking. I have to do that. So the introduction was amazing. All I'm going to do initially is tell you a little bit more about my background, about my story. What I encourage you to do, what I challenge you to do. Hear your story in my story because it's our story. So now, why would I say that? My name is Kendrick Davis. I was born in Inglewood, California. Lived there for about 10 years. My parents moved to Rialto. So my parents have been in Rialto now since the early 80s. I came to RCC as the first college I attended 25 years ago. Now, the key to my story is that I'm also a trio person. I know you guys probably don't know about all the different amazing trio programs out there. There are around 9 of them. I come from the McNair Scholars Program from Cal State San Bernardino, and that literally prepared me to be here today. Without that experience, I'm not here. So let me give you a real quick rundown in terms of what I really do at the School of Medicine. It's kind of crazy. If you would have talked to me 10 years ago and I stood beside the gentleman I am now, I'd blow his mind because I do more than he could have imagined me doing. And that's part of this whole talking theme. And so I am an assistant clinical faculty. That means I'm a professor. I teach biostatistics, epidemiology, and research. You don't have to know what biostatistics and epidemiology are real quick. Epidemiology is the study of patterns of injury, disease, and death in our community. And given that our community is neglected, it becomes vitally important to me to study those patterns. But then I direct 4 programs. The only reason why I have 2 on there is because you can see how long it took to say all the shit I do. So I'm the Director of Medical Education Research and Evaluation. I'm in charge of all the evaluations for the entire School of Medicine to make sure students are learning, that the learning is invaluable. I also direct all the research, and so aside of biomedical sciences research, I'm in charge of clinical research, population research, disparities research, quality improvement research, and the list is pretty long. I also co-direct the LACE program, Longitudinal Ambulatory Clinical Experience, with my brother, Dr. Dawadi. The program is very novel because in most medical schools, students don't get a chance to go out into the clinic until their 3rd year. We actually start the students out in their very first year, and they get that longitudinal experience for 3 years straight. We direct that, and I'm the really lovely guy who is in charge of all the research the students have to do that they really love. And I'm being very sarcastic. And so that's 3 of my director roles, and then the 4th one is that I'm the director of our research pipeline program. And that program is a brand new program. What I'm doing is taking undergraduate students, and Mimi was one of my first students. She's my research analyst now, a graduate from UCR school, main campus. But in essence, I take undergraduates, postbaccs, medical students, residents, and clinicians. I train them in research, but then I actually help them to develop projects kind of along those epidemiological lines that's going to help improve the health in our community. From our communities, of course, that becomes vitally important. And so those are the roles I play. How did I get here? And that's what becomes critical, and now here's where my themes unfold. My theme for you guys is dare to dream. I dare to dream, and that means that, of course, there's a challenge. You're coming from a background where you may not have the things necessary to be as successful as you thought. Wrong. The reality is it just means that there are hurdles in your way, and it's okay. The hurdles might be a little taller than everyone else's hurdles. That's what just makes us stronger. So one of my first hurdles is that I come from a very rural family. Even though my parents moved to Los Angeles, they're from the country. They're from Oklahoma. That's why I went back there. That's why I did the little OU Boomer Sooner thing. But ultimately, I became a teenage father when I was a freshman here at RCC. And at the time, the reason why I say dare to dream is because I was told by everyone that it was no longer about me, that I should not be dreaming, I should be getting a damn job and taking care of my family. And my worry was that, man, I applied for all kinds of jobs. And y'all know, you live in the IE, back 25 years ago, minimum wage was $4.25. And you can only imagine, just like today, even if minimum wage is over $6, you can't survive. That's not minimum wage, is slave wage. And so the problem that I had is that I could not provide for my daughter adequately getting a job. So college became the viable route for me to do that. But of course I faced challenges dealing with I didn't have enough money. I had to study, be a full-time student, father. I got married in that first year. So now I'm a husband. and still I can't earn enough money to actually provide for a family, and I can't really see the end to all of this. All I know is that on a day-to-day basis, when finals are coming up, and when I've got job demands, and when the baby needs formula and diapers, that there's nothing but stressors going on, and all I can do is work hard at it and hope that things will work out. But I'll tell you what ends up happening is, in terms of daring to dream, my story unfolds over time because I refuse to let go of my dreams. And now let's contrast this for a minute. I'm not talking about fantasizing. So there's a difference between dreaming that I'm talking about and what people do when they just imagine things being great. To dream, you got to work toward it. You got to build some kind of plan. You got to have some kind of commitment and be invested in your dreams. Without those kinds of things, you're fantasizing, and that's all good. If it gets you away from your day-to-day activities, have your fantasies. Make sure that you're also putting in real time to dream so that you have something that you're aspiring toward. Because if you keep daring to dream, what eventually will happen is you'll become a pro at your dreams. And I'm there now. I'm living my dream, so I'm a professional. And that has 3 acronyms for you. You got to be passionate about what you pursue. The first thing that I discovered is that, well, I like to learn. And so I may not like to learn every single thing under the sun, but I like to learn a lot of things. And for a lot of the things that I learn, the passion behind learning new information carries me through the challenging times. So let's talk about this story. Something else I didn't tell you guys is that after I became a teenage father and was at RCC about 25 years ago or so, give or take, standard deviation of about whatever. Because I'm not giving away my age completely. But ultimately, I transferred. Ended up at Cal State San Bernardino. I played baseball there as well. And things worked out where I had a great career there, but I didn't get drafted. And of course, I said, dare to dream. And I don't care what Pops was saying, what father-in-law was saying. I refused to let go of the dream that I wanted to be a professional baseball player. So I did it, even without getting drafted. Played independent ball, went to Canada. Played up there, had a blast. But after about 4 years of it, then I started to question, what am I doing? Because I wasn't making a lot of money. I was away from my baby girl. That was my first child, my wife, and it was hard. I remember the first night I was in Canada, I can be real with y'all, and I'm a big, strong brother from LA, I cried. Because I was like, okay, it's cold. I just saw a mountie. It's supposed to be spring. I don't know anybody here. They eat a whole different kind of food. You go to McDonald's and they got gravy on the fries, and it turned out to be good, but I didn't know. I just knew it was foreign. Dare to dream. So I pursued my dreams all the way to another country. Came back home after a while, and the last season I played, my son was born. And so now I'm like, okay, I've got 2 babies who are looking up to me. All I've done is tell them to be successful as a black male, I got to entertain. To hell with that. So I stopped doing it. My wife wasn't happy because she's like, you're so good. Yeah, but that takes a lot of other factors in order for me to reach where I'd like to reach, and I don't have complete control over this. But one of the things that I learned is that in college, they can't take away what I learned and the degrees and certificates I get, and that's really powerful. So I went back to school with a plan, became a McNair Scholar. And that program really helped me to dream. But again, here comes that theme again. Dare to dream. See, I'm pursuing my passion now of learning and aspiring to go hard and go far. Again, father-in-law, dad, not understanding it. And you got to understand, we come from families where if you're the first to get a college degree, well, I wasn't the first. My mom was doing it, and you got to remember the era they come from. So my mom was getting flack from everyone. She's out earning her husband. She's a black woman in a home with a black man who's a good father, great man and a great earner. He doesn't have any college degrees. She's surpassing him. Not an easy thing to deal with from that generation. So in terms of when I get to this stage, now I got 2 kids. Played 4 years of pro ball. They really think I'm dreaming too much because I come home and say, I want to get a doctorate. And they're like, a who? You got another dream for us? I thought you had gotten that out of your system. I'm like, y'all are twisted. You didn't realize who I am. I got high aspirations for everything I do. So yes, I'm pursuing a doctorate. It was so little in terms of the level of support that I received. I can tell you for true, and this happens. So the next acronym aside of pursuing your passion, be resilient. Because when you start to face this pursuit of your dream and daring to dream, inevitably, the universe will test you. Your family tests you, the weather tests you. Shit, my car tested me, it broke down. And it broke down like this. The bad boy broke down where it blew a gasket. I needed a whole new engine. Right before I was supposed to go to graduate school. Meanwhile, the fellas are saying, get a job, stop pursuing these crazy dreams and take care of your family. And they don't know anything about a doctorate. What can you do with that? How long is it going to take? Are you going to really make enough money? But you could have been making money all these years, and all of those doubts were thrown at me, and the car's engine was gone. So I had to work summer school teaching to save up just enough money to get to Oklahoma. Now, mind you, I hear y'all songs nowadays, and I try to stay connected to the younger generation because I got love for you, and I still kind of look young. But I know back in my day, push to start meant something a little different than what y'all say today. Push to start meant pop in the clutch, and that's what I had to do. Someone would be in the back, I'd have my leg out, then I'd hop in and I'd push to start and pop the clutch. So I drove one of those bad boys to Oklahoma. Right. Spent almost $2,000 to get an engine rebuilt on a hoopty, a bucket. Y'all know what that means from our background. It's a ride that you could have put wheels on a mop and everything else and take that down the highway. So we drive to Oklahoma. This is again about that resilience. I'm going to graduate school, just spent $2,000 to rebuild an engine that barely works. It only takes about 19 and a half hours to get to Oklahoma. It took us 36 and a half hours in the summer, 100 to 20 degree heat. We were running the heater. Why? Y'all know? To keep the vehicle from overheating. You talk about daring to dream, I'll get tested. But that's the way it is. So I end up in Oklahoma, and I can tell you, real talk, and for a moment in there, I wasn't sure anymore. I could hear the father-in-law, the dad, all the doubts, the vehicle's running horribly. The kids are in the back seat chilling, metaphorically speaking. It was too hot to really chill. But what we did is we put like blankets and covers to block the heat from getting back to them, kept the windows down, the ice chest was between the kids, and they played and had no idea how horrible things were. Meanwhile, I'm damn near in tears because I'm like, okay, what am I doing with my family? Because now I can hear all this doubt. And I'm like, why did I take them? And guess what? We only had $200 to our name. Because after I paid for the darn engine, I had $100 left. A teacher I worked with heard the story and heard the doubt my family was placing on it, and she gave us $100 the day we were leaving. Or we wouldn't have had anything. We got there, and of course our dorm was ready, but it took a month to get a check. Dare to dream. You got to be resilient. So we ate peanut butter and bologna. Y'all, we say bologna. We did all that, right? For about 3 weeks. I ate at cousins' houses, aunties' houses, took the kids over there. We did what we had to do. My wife got a job right away to make things work. Ultimately, you'll be tested. Now, along my journey, once I got into graduate school, it wasn't smooth sailing. That happens all the time. So for my master's degree, there were times in there where I really doubted. And I can tell you it was like prayer. Every morning at a certain time, I had all my books laid out on the floor. I was on my knees. And it felt like I was praying, but the reality is I was studying my behind off. I was studying for hours on end. I would set aside about 3 hours every morning to study before I even went to the university. Because I sat in the classes and I started doubting whether I should be there or not. I had all these classmates who sounded brilliant, and I doubted myself. Turns out that after a semester there, all the classmates I thought were so smart took incompletes in the class I got A's in. And then it started to dawn on me that I belonged there. So now in terms of talking about the story, we can get all the way up until we get to the O, right? So I've got dare to dream. You got P, pursue your passion. You got this R, be resilient. You're going to face things that really challenge you. But now it's all about creating opportunities for yourself. Be a pro at creating opportunities from your dreams. This is all about you. You got a lot of power and your mind is unbelievably powerful. I can tell you firsthand, the more you learn, and the more you subject yourself to learning, the faster and better you get at doing it. There are things that I do now in a day's time frame that would have taken me a month to do. And I'm not exaggerating. It's just a matter of how well you learn. So if you put in that time, you're going to create opportunities from what you do. Me pursuing my doctorate took some years. And I can be honest again, I come from a different background, and so our old dean for the School of Medicine had this statement, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. Part of what makes you amazing as learners, especially from our background, we call this the distance traveled. It's the amount of distance it took you to get to this outcome that wasn't a straight line for you that it is for some other people. But think about all the things you gained. So from our background, what do they say? That which does not kill us, what? Makes us stronger. Real talking. So I'm not advocating for the challenges we face. That's why I do the things that I do. I'm trying to change it. But the truth of the matter is, given that we have to go through it, get through it, use it as leverage to empower yourself, because you're only going to be more equipped. You're going to be better at dealing with the fact that, okay, in anything we do, any goal we pursue, there will be obstacles. The fact that we come from backgrounds where we're challenged means we face obstacles on a regular basis. We actually triumph over them easier. So know that. Now, in terms of creating opportunities, there will be things that occur in your dreaming process where, like a dream, some of it's foggy. Inevitably, you can't see the outcome before you get to it. So be comfortable with the idea that in psychology we call this disequilibrium, right? In cognitive dissonance. It's the difference between what you know and what you like to know. And what you like to know oftentimes is based upon experience. And if you haven't experienced it yet, how would you know? So be comfortable with you creating things that you can't completely see. I've done it for a lifetime. If you'd have talked to me 3 years ago, I was doing a job 5 years ago, I would have known that I'm doing what I'm doing. I forgot, time is flowing now. So I've actually been there 4 years. This is going into the 5th school year. But give me a little time before I was doing my job and ask me again, can I imagine doing what I'm doing? And I tell you no, and I was almost finished with a doctorate. So there will always be things that you're creating that are more than what you can realize. Be comfortable with that. That's what makes you amazing. You're pushing a new existence into the future with what you do, with your mind, with your thoughts, with your energy. So dare to dream. I don't know how much time I've taken up now. I was on the road.
17 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. So look, I know that I had about 25 minutes, and since I interrupted the flow with asking the time, that's my shot check. It's all good. So look, I really want to impose upon you guys. You're amazing. I went to this school. I went to 4 different JCs, or community colleges. I started at RCC. But if you think about my story, I went to Cal State San Bernardino. I'm a professor at UCR. I'm from this community. This community raised me. But at the same time, think about how it doesn't sound like the stories you hear from our community. Because it's our story. Our story means that there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of distance travel. And so, again, when I challenged you at the beginning, hear your story in mind because it's ours. Here it is. Know that where you are right now is a launching pad to greatness. It's a launching pad to daring to dream, and you're already doing that. Be a pro at your dream. Create amazing opportunities for what you're doing, what you're passionate about, what you actually persevere through with your resilience. Create amazing outcomes that surprise you. What I want to leave you with is that as many fans as people have, right? So I know Kobe just retired. Some people are, Laker fans and Kobe fans, and that's all great. I'm not. Watch why. Because my goal for each and every one of you is to be a fan of yourself. You don't have the control to do anything that made that person amazing. It's what makes you amazing. Look in the mirror every day and feel amazing about who you are. Dare to amaze you. You should be your biggest fan. Do things that make you that. You should look in the mirror every day and be proud of who you are. You should be striving to amaze yourself in every way. So make sure that you dare to dream, be a pro at your dreams. Strive every day to look in that mirror and be amazed at who you are. Congratulations, you guys are amazing. I know that because I come from the same background. I want to see you guys in the future doing wonderful things because you already are. So hit me up. I'll see you soon. Congratulations. Have a beautiful day.